So, folks, Eric Trump is out there bragging about his dad being an authoritarian. He's just saying it all out loud now. He's just going for it. And in Eric Trump's mind, he actually believes that Donald Trump has just completely killed woke. He believes that Donald Trump has put an end to DEI and everything else, and just proud of his dad. He's really proud of his dad. I want you to take a look at this ridiculous clip, and then we'll talk more about it.
Media is dead. The left is dead. Woke is dead. DEI is dead. My father killed it all, and he happens to be sitting back in the Oval Office with the House, with the Senate, with a 6-3 majority on the Supreme Court, obviously the executive branch, a weakened media, which I never thought you would have otherwise seen. Sean?
Okay, I just want to say this. Woke is not dead. The left is not dead. And he's got another thing coming if he thinks we're ever going to go away. There's going to be a No Kings protest that is set to be the biggest one in American history coming up on this Saturday. And we're going to be there, and we're going to be speaking up, and we're going to be speaking out, and we're always going to be shouting down this stuff. I think it's very important as we go forward that we make sure that we never lose sight of what we were always fighting for. Folks, they're going to do everything they can to try to scare us. They truly are. They're going to pull every punch in the book that they can to try to scare us. But we will have to stand up. Too many good people came before us, and too many people fought the good fight for us to ever sit and back down for a second. Now, they're going to pull boogeymen out of thin air, and they're going to find ways to blame this on everybody. Pam Bondi is trying every way she can to blame it on Antifa, which they pulled completely out of thin air. Antifa is an idea. It's not an organization. It's not a headquarters. You can't drive down to the local Antifa chapter and talk to the president. Don't exist. They can come up with people on Fox News to put on a little ski mask or tie a bandana. I was kind of offended that dude had a black bandana on. Fuck that. Don't go messing up my bandana with your stupid shit, Jesse Waters. But anyway, I just want to remind people that doesn't understand what Antifa really means. Antifa stands for anti-fascism. And fascism is a governmental system led by a dictator, having complete power, forcibly suppressing opposition and criticism, regimenting all industry and commerce, etc., and emphasizing an aggressive nationalism and often racism. So, if we're anti-fascist and they're saying that's a domestic terrorist group and you're wrong for being anti-fascist, then I guess they're saying that therefore a governmental system led by a dictator having complete power. It's absolute bullshit, but I want to play a clip here of Pam Bondi talking about how they're going to be bringing the hammer down more on Antifa. Take a look.
Well, sure, and that's one of the things about Antifa. You've heard President Trump say multiple times they are organized, they are a criminal organization, and they're very organized. You're seeing people out there with thousands of signs that all match, pre-bought, pre-put together. They're organized, and someone is funding it. We're going to get to the funding of Antifa. We're going to get to the root of Antifa, and we are going to find and charge all of those people who are causing this chaos in Portland and all these other cities across our country. Talk to all the influencers who have been threatened and beat up and their lives threatened from Antifa members. It's going to stop under Donald Trump.
And right there, she's referring to Tim Pool, who claims he got hit in the head by somebody from Antifa. I don't care, really. It's like, I've never been a fan of Tim Pool. Sorry he got hit in the head, but it's like he always goes out and tries to say that he was hit in the head by a member of Antifa. And I'm going, dude, Antifa is not a real thing. It's just an idea. And it's not an organization. It's not well organized. And when she sits there and talks about, oh, these people have signs that match, and they have signs that they bought in advance. No, I can tell you that at one of the protests I went to in Sacramento, I was out in California with some friends. And we went to the store and bought the materials to make the signs ourselves. And what was so sad to me is I was sitting there, I was watching the kids make their signs. And I was watching kids make signs that said, no person is illegal. And, trans people are human. Signs like that. And I was sitting there saying, it's a shame in 2025 that we're having to do this. It's a shame in 2025 that these kids are having to go out here and hold these signs up. But there wasn't nobody paying us to do a damn thing. We were speaking up because we stand against an authoritarian dictator. And authoritarian means favoring strict obedience to authority, especially at the expense of personal freedom. The First Amendment gives everyone the right on Saturday to go out and to protest. And she wants to sit and talk about they're well organized, they're a criminal organization. No, she's saying this, folks. And this is why you do have to be careful while you're out there protesting. I'm not here trying trying to spread fear and hyperbole. I'm just trying to be realistic with you. When you're out there protesting, make sure you always do it peacefully. Don't give anyone any reason to look in your direction, because they're going to be doing it anyway. You're going to be under a microscope. They're going to be looking at you, and they can label you that because they just pulled it out of their ass. And that's what needs to be said. They're absolutely pulling the stuff out of their ass. And the biggest, most hypocritical part of all of this to me is that the president who led an insurrection on our nation's capital is considering invoking the Insurrection Act. And Pam Bondi says he has every right to do it.
Brought in the National Guard. But look at Portland. Look at Chicago.
So the president, I guess he talked about, if they will not enforce the law, if they will not keep American citizens safe in towns and cities, that it may result in him invoking the Insurrection Act. Let's talk about the legality of that.
Sure. He absolutely has the right to do that, the legal authority to do that. We didn't have to do it in Los Angeles. They came in, they cleaned up the riots. You saw, look how much better LA is after the president brought in the National Guard. But look at Portland, look at Chicago.
Folks, every bit of this is manufactured chaos to distract everyone from the Epstein files. It always goes back to that. Every video I've done today circles back to that. They're going to try their damnedest to hide the Epstein files and create manufactured chaos. Folks, crime rates were down. Okay, and they have been in a lot of the places that Donald Trump has sent into what he calls war-ravaged places. And then you got people out there with making videos saying, here we are in this war-ravaged place. There ain't nothing going on. I went out to Oakland a while back, walked around. It was peaceful as could be, walking down the street. I mean, yes, I passed by a homeless person. I mean, you're going to see people, like that in different places, but it wasn't like they make it out on the TV. It wasn't how Pam Bondi made it out. It's just, all this is them trying to distract, and all this is them doing the absolute most epic case of gaslighting that I've ever seen. They're the party that's against the rule of law. They're the party that's against the Constitution. They're the party that's against children. They're the party that's against health care. They're the party that is protecting pedophiles. And they're the party of January 6th. We can never let them off the hook. So for them to sit back and say, oh, he has every right to invoke the Insurrection Act, yeah. And then Sean Hannity sits there and says, oh, well, if these people aren't going to keep their people safe, these governors was doing a good job keeping their people safe. Their crime rates were coming down. There's been judges that have said, hey, look, there's no credible reason why you should even be going there. But what this stuff does, it plays right into the hands of people who are scared of their own shadow. There are people out there that just loves to click on this shit and believe that the world is burning down. And where I'm from, I know so many people has never been to Chicago a day in their life. They've never been to San Francisco a day in their life. They've never visited California. They've never visited New York. They've never been to Oakland. They've never been to Portland. Never been to none of these places. But they'll sit back because they listen to some podcaster, they listen to some influencer sit and tell them how bad it is. Oh, Tim Pool got hit in the head by Antifa. Oh, God, we can't go there. They'll sit and believe every bit of that bullshit. And meanwhile, turn a blind eye to all the shit that's happening right around them. Sweep every bit of it under the rug. And sit back while they sweep the Epstein files under the rug. And I know I'm getting repetitive, but that's just because I am so tired of this horse shit coming from them. Mike Johnson wants to talk about he's tired of us. Trust me, the feeling is absolutely mutual. We're so tired of it. We're so sick and over all of it. And so what I would say to everybody out there is, don't ever give up protesting. Don't ever give up your right to the First Amendment. And if someone says, are you Antifa? We're not an organization. There is no organization. We're not being paid by anyone. We're not going and buying. Signs aren't being sent to us to go out there and say this stuff. We're standing up because we believe in what we're saying, and because we stand against this regime, and because we believe in the First Amendment. You have every right to go out there Saturday and protest. When you do, be careful. That's all I'm saying. Be careful. We live in a crazy world these days, folks, and we live in a world where I do believe, you could see people trying to agitate you, trying to do anything they could to get you off your game. Don't do it. Don't play into it. We're not radical left lunatics. We're just people over here that wants to see people paid fairly. We want to see a living wage. We want to see people have health care. We want to see women have control over their own bodies. We want to see the gay and trans community be allowed to live the life they were born to live in peace and happiness. We want to see the country do better. We want to see the rule of law upheld. We want to see peaceful protest, and we want to see the Constitution kept in place. And if that makes us radical left lunatics, let them call us that all day long. All I know is we're not the party that stormed the Capitol, and we're not the party that has young Republican leaders saying all sorts of racist garbage and then going out there and defending that crap. That's who they are. And we always have to put it back on them. Because all they're trying to do right now, folks, when Donald Trump got reelected, ever since he got reelected, they're trying their damnedest to rewrite history. He's in control. He wants to rewrite everything that happened. We can't let him do that. And we also can't let him continue to hide the Epstein files. And yes, I'm going to keep circling back to that. And we need to keep circling back to that. Because they could have saved us a whole lot of stress if they were innocent, couldn't they? I mean, if they were innocent, they could have absolutely saved us every bit of this stress. But the longer that they keep them from us, the more we're going to look around and go, yep, I do believe we're all being played. But folks, I do appreciate y'all so much for sticking with me here on the channel. We've made it over 854,000, I think, the last time I looked. And so that's a huge feat because we hit 500,000 back before Trump took office. We did that before January 20th. That means we've got in another 350,000. 354,000 just since January. So that's a huge accomplishment. I appreciate all of you. As long as I have a platform, I'm going to be here using my voice. You continue to use yours in whatever way you can. Be safe out there. Always, protect yourself and protect your families. And let's just stand up for the truth, folks. We're going to be in for the long haul. You got young Republican leaders showing you who they are, showing you what we're going to be up against down the road. So don't wait for the kids to save us. We've all got to work together from every age group. We've all got to work together to save this country and to save democracy. And will we ever get back to being normal? No, folks. I'm sorry to say we probably will never get back to it. But then again, were we ever normal? I think about my grandfather, and I think about all the stuff he lived through, and I think about conversations we had. And when he passed away in 1992, he thought the world had went to hell then. So, it's one of those things where it's worse now to me than it's been in my 45 years of existence, but we'll keep putting the work in. We'll keep moving forward, and we'll try to restore it. We may never get it back to any level of normalcy, but if we could restore some decency, and we could restore some humanity, and we could restore some common sense, and we could finally put to bed all this just hatred and division, that's something that I hope we can work toward, and I hope we can get there. And I do believe we can. We just got to keep working together.